So we're here at the Mesolithic hut at Archeon and looking at this whole new Mesolithic hut. It's thatched on the outside, and we're looking at all the things, the coracle, the bow and arrows, and especially I'm curious with all these pieces of animals. There's what we think are swan feathers hanging over the door. There's this leg that looks like it came from a deer. And you know, it's very interesting because as modern people, we come in here and we look at these things and we're like, well, why do they have like a deer leg lying around? Like, that looks pretty useless, right? Something really interesting that this shows is a different approach to decision making and a different approach to using resources. When you and I go to the grocery store to buy juice, there's 10 different kinds of juice, or more like 50 kinds of juice. And you don't care about the other 9 kinds of juice. Instead, you're picking just one kind of juice and you're like, okay, that's the juice I want. I'm going to grab the juice and I'm out of here. And the other 9 types of juice don't even appear on your radar. In other words, you start from 10 things and you select one thing out of them. But with here, it's the exact reverse. What you do is you've killed an animal or found an animal corpse, and now the question is something more like, okay, I have a jaw. I don't have 10 different kinds of jaw, I have one jaw, and that's a miracle. And so what do I do with my one jaw? Right, and that's the question. So now what are the 10 things that I can do with this jaw? Instead of what are the 10 different things I could select from, it's, okay, I've got one thing, what are the 10 or 50 or 100 or 1,000 things that I can make out of it? It's a completely different approach to decision making. And it's one that we don't seem to do. We're consumers, we select from options. But these people were, I don't even know what the word is. Maybe the word is producer, maybe it's something else. But they didn't select from multiple options. Instead, they had one thing and tried to make 10 things out of it.
You have to be way more resourceful if you don't have resources.
Yeah, that's one way you could think about it, is that you have to be way more resourceful when you don't have resources. So I'm sitting here with this leg thinking, okay, well, what could we do with it? And the answer we came up with was, it's a back scratcher. So, and maybe there's 9 other things you could make out of it, right? But it's a thing really worth thinking about that maybe sometimes, and perhaps it stifles our creativity too, that we always know exactly what it is that we want, and we go and pick out the one thing that we want out of all the options. And maybe instead what we should do sometimes is to back off and say, no, it's not what do we want, it's what do we have? And then stop there for a minute and think, what are the things we could make out of that? What could we produce from that? It's a different approach, and one that I think is really worth thinking about, considering, and practicing. Another case where you see this is with the grass hut and all the things here that are made out of sticks and grass and reeds. Now, you and I come into this hut and we look at it and we think, oh, it's a grass hut. Well, that seems stupid. We make houses out of concrete and steel and wood and insulation foam, and those are so much better. So why would you live in a grass house? But you need to think about it coming from these people's perspective. They didn't start with steel, wood, or concrete houses. They didn't even start with a grass house. Instead, they started with grass. And so the question is not, I want a house, how do I make it? Instead, the question is, I have grass. What can I make out of it? And the answer is, well, you can make a house, you can make a basket, you can make a net, you can make the inside of a coracle, you can make all kinds of things. You start from what you have and work outwards instead of starting from what you want and working inwards.
It's amazing to me that with just grass, they've got a waterproof shelter that feels sheltered. It feels like a cave. It's beautiful. That's
really,
genius.
It's a fish. Oh my word.
This is a tree that they're dangling and using to dry stuff over the fire.
Which is really cool. No, this is a perfect example too.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example too. What you have is a tree,
Yeah.
right? So what can you make with a tree? And the answer is, well, you can make what would you call this? Like a cooking column that you can hang, 10 different pots or fish or whatever from.
This is like those fancy iron pot racks that you dangle all your stuff from over the stove.
Except that there's 50 of them growing within 100 feet of this hut.
That's awesome.
That's
Lightly
so cool.
pine scented.
Yeah. Right, this is actually kind of a fun game to play. Is just grab an object and say, we've got this, what can we do with it? So we're playing that game right now. We've got what looks like a little mini hedgehog. You can see its head and mouth there, right? So the question is, well, what can you do with a hedgehog? And you can imagine somebody cleaning out their dishes with this. You can imagine someone cleaning off their clothes. It's like a kitchen scrubber in a little sink.
And also a supply of needles.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the needles are probably too short to do much with. You could use them as pins. You could use them. You could put them on blowgun darts, maybe. All right, so we've found at least 4 things you can do with a hedgehog, besides just have a hedgehog pet and pet it and feed it and stuff. You could do that with a hedgehog too.